Hello everybody, welcome to the Football Daily Weekly. Pleasure to see you here. Glad you could make it. We've got Laurence and Dave with us. It may be the end of the season, but that doesn't mean to say we can't have some Q's and some A's. Let us begin then, chaps. Sarab Tripathi is asking, or saying, Ings and Milner to LFC. Good signings? Question mark.
Well, it's a question.
Yes, good signings is where the question is.
Yeah.
Lawrence, what do you think? Ings and Milner to Liverpool?
My favourite tweet about it was, we said signings, not sign-ins.
That's
a good quiz.
Okay.
Good one-liner. What's Danny Ings like?
He's a decent player, but I don't think he's quite Liverpool standard where Liverpool want to be in the top four. Scored 11 goals this season. It's quite a mixed bunch in terms of how he scored. He scored 3 with his right foot, 4 with his left foot, and 4 with his head. So he's got that variation in his play.
Bit of range, Dave.
Bit of range, but you look at his chance conversion, he's scoring 1 goal every about 10 shots.
He was playing for Burnley.
He was playing for Burnley, but he did have the chances. There were a few big misses this season that, around January time that could have helped Burnley get a little bit of momentum that he sort of messed up. His pass accuracy is 71%. That's pretty poor for any player in the Premier League. The average is about 80%. So 71% is quite poor. Will that fit into Brendan Rodgers' side? He likes to keep the ball on the deck. Maybe not. Question marks over Ings. I think he would have suited Southampton, somewhere where there's young English talent. There's a good vibe.
And,
there is,
Liverpool, mate.
But
we're ruining it.
I think the thing with Liverpool is that the strikers have got to come in and they've got to score. They've got to provide those goals, and there's a lot more pressure. Whereas if he went to Southampton, he could play a few games. Shane Long could come in, Pellett could come in.
But he's not playing there, Dave.
He's not.
He's going to Liverpool. His trade in Liverpool.
With James Milner.
Yes.
That's a good signing.
I mean, James Milner, potentially, when he played up front for City, looked as good as Ings.
Yeah, he did.
So Liverpool have really got a very good player.
But Milner he's a good utility man.
And I think that's a great place to start with James Milner, isn't it? And then it's where you go after that. Apparently he's been promised central midfield football at Liverpool. So you'd say that looks like, we saw the dynamism of that England side the other day when Milner and Henderson were alongside each other, just breaking that back line over.
The Irish didn't know what hit them.
Yes, because it was literally such a dull thud
that
they could barely.
They couldn't work it out. Was that a feather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it James Milner?
That's right. Skip32 asking potential manager candidates for Newcastle and West Ham. We think West Ham have got Bilic. At the time of recording, that's not been confirmed, but it's all but.
And Bilic is gutted because he missed out on Danny Ings and James Milner.
Indeed.
If he'd have been in a week earlier,
well, they've been great. They'd be great.
They would actually been a fantastic.
The thing is, this is what you're saying. Like, Ings and Milner, they're good signings.
I'm not
especially
saying that.
Milner.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Change your tone then.
This isn't talks.
Change your tone.
Okay, my tone will change now. Slaven Bilic is a character, Marcus.
Yeah.
We don't know very much about him, do we? We do. But the point is, he's a real character. He was a fantastic international coach, and also has proven himself somewhat on the domestic level.
And in the musical arena.
Well, I just wonder whether West Ham is the right combination with it.
So, one, correct, he's a brilliant international manager. He won 65% of his games for Croatia. They obviously beat England to was it Euro?
Yeah.
2008.
2008.
Very, very skilled. Brilliant squad though.
That's one thing. He did
He
have
made
a
the
very,
most
very
of it,
talented squad, but if you look at his record as a domestic club manager, it's quite poor. So Lokomotiv Moscow, he spent quite a bit of cash, bought veteran Korluka in, bought Ziegler in, and bought Damon Doy, the player that plays for Hull now. So he had a pretty decent squad. They started off very well in the first 10 games. They picked up 6 wins there. I think they were top of the league. In the next 20, they only won another 6 games that season. So he starts very well, and then he goes poorly. So at Besiktas, he brought in Demba Ba, obviously ex-Chelsea, Newcastle player, who scored 18 goals this season. He was the second top scorer behind Fernandao from Bursaspor.
Yeah. He
had a very talented squad, the likes of Tor, he's another young Turkish winger, 22 years old, take-ons for fun, dribbles past opponents. But he really had a chance to win the league. You look at Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, it was a real battle at the top with Besiktas. He had that chance to win the league. He started brilliantly, but again, the form dropped at the end, and he should have won the league, really.
What about Newcastle, Lawrence?
Well, they want Steve McClaren.
They do. And he's a free agent.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. But there we are.
That's Steve McClaren for you, isn't it?
McClaren's a good manager.
That's football.
So you think McClaren? What about you?
I think so. Today we heard in the media that Jurgen Klopp was saying that he would go to a team that's not in the top 4. Jurgen Klopp and Newcastle United would be the perfect mix.
We were talking about that.
Come and get me, Liverpool.
Weren't we talking about that? Klopp to Newcastle.
That would be absolutely perfect. The football would be brilliant again. He likes to work with the director of football. Obviously, Newcastle do have a kind of director of football model in a way. kind of thing. Whether they can get that right, whether they can get that right, you know, we'll see. But that would be a wonderful addition to the Premier League.
It would be. But you think realistically, McClaren, you would expect that?
I would like to see McClaren. I think there are certain members of management that the media mock, and I'd love it if next season the members that people mock, Rafa Benitez, Steve McClaren, both go on and have great seasons.
Yeah, very good, very good. We'll move on to some Facebook questions, they're obviously from Twitter. Dixon is asking...
Hi, Lee.
Sorry?
Lee Dixon.
No. Dixon Abier is asking, what is the way forward for FIFA?
I mean, they're putting women in the game.
Might I chip in for a second here?
Not really.
If a certain Argentinian said if Prince Ali bin Hussein succeeds Blatter, he was of course Blatter's only challenger in the recent electoral.
Somewhat of a token.
Yes. If he gets in, if he succeeds Blatter, then Diego Maradona reckons he could be given a vice president role. And he has said, I'll clean them all up.
Does he mean clean them all out?
No.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll clean you guys out.
That's right.
Where's my yacht?
He'd bring his own bar of soap. Dave, is Maradona the man?
No.
Clearly
is he
not.
the man? No, of course he's not. It's crazy.
Is it to do with the 30-odd million pounds he still owes the Italian government?
It's a lot of it. It's crazy, isn't it? How can you have someone in Maradona, vice president of FIFA? We want someone to shore the ship, not to break it, not to sink it.
Hey, it'll be a laugh though.
It'll be a good laugh, but then that's not what we need. Someone to come in. We need a team of people to come in that are not in the football. I think we need some external people to come in, act as a sort of, you know, a board for a bit, sort it out, get people in that actually are going to do the right thing.
It's a good point, actually, Dave. You do almost need someone who, when a club goes into administration, like
you need an administrator. That's what you need.
You need Ancelotti.
You need Sven.
Oh, yeah. Or a super team of Maradona, Pele.
No, not Maradona or Pele. They need someone to come in and steady the ship.
Faces, mate.
Yeah.
I think you need people completely disjoint from football. I think
You've just named 3 people that won't have a clue.
Yeah, I know. And then what you need behind them...
Basically, you don't want corruption, you want funny corruption.
Exactly, you want fun corruption.
Entertaining corruption.
Yeah, that's what you want, because essentially football's just entertainment, isn't it?
Perhaps a more realistic suggestion would be Jerome Champagne. The wonderfully named Jerome Champagne, who actually, a lot of people thought he was a credible candidate when he was going to go for the presidency. Yes, well done. And but a lot of the UEFA countries didn't back him. They didn't back him because they were happy with the current regime. And then, of course, the current regime is under severe scrutiny now. And maybe we should have gone for Champagne. It's like,
I think we should have the people who voted for Sepp Blatter to be president again. They need to be outed. We need to see which federations did that and why they did that. I read something about Mourinho yesterday that was saying that he knew that he was going to win Manager of the Year because he knew that people had voted for him and whatever, and he came second. And he was surprised he came second.
To Del Bosque.
To Del Bosque, and he looked back at the votes when they came out, and he was rung up by his club captain, this and that. And they said that they voted for him, and then it wasn't on the ballot piece, which is ridiculous. We need transparency. That's what we need. We need like I said before, we need everyone that's voted for a certain president, a certain player. That needs to be open into the media. Why is it closed? Why are we still getting undisclosed transfer fees? This is why it's broken.
Ioma Shafiu is asking, who is Manchester United's main target now?
Now!
Not before, now.
Lawrence? Midfielder?
Let's ask Lawrence this one.
Well, I was going to say that I think they probably want another central defender, don't they, Dave?
Yes, I agree.
But you know what's weird is the more I hear people talk about Hummels, the more people go, he's overrated.
It's because I think
he's overpriced because defenders are an absolute premium.
Yeah. He's getting found out this year because Borussia Dortmund defensively have got a really, really bad structure, and that's what's happening. You know, he's left open. There's 2 centre halves versus players pulling wide, quick players. He's saying he's being found out is when he gets pulled to a wide position to the left back slot to defend wide. It's very difficult to find a defender at the top level that can defend wide because you need different strengths to play that position. If Hummels was in a team with a solid defensive midfielder, with full-backs that can get up and down, he will be fantastic again. His passing is ridiculous. The German Cup final, he played some of the best balls I've ever seen a centre-half play. That's what his strengths are, ball-playing centre-half.
Is he like a Ronald Koeman? You remember, well, you may not remember, but you'll know that Ronald Koeman, when he played centre-back, would beautiful diagonal passes.
Yeah,
not long hit and hope, long balls. The range of passing he had was ridiculous. And is Hummels in that kind of mould?
Exactly in that mould.
Slightly quicker though. I mean, his vision. Just because of the speed of the game,
but Koeman distributed. I mean, playing for that Barcelona dream team, you know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is just that Hummels is faster.
Well, okay, but they're similar though.
I'm not saying it adds to your point. He just built on that.
So there was one ball against Wolfsburg in the second half that was a lovely floated ball forward that you're thinking, oh, he's just a hit and hope there. But it's just perfect, like perfect dip. And then Aubameyang's clean for own goal. If he can, if he knows the offside rule, which he struggled with this season a lot, that he would have been clean through and scored.
So you think Hummels is one?
Hummels. Dave made the good point beforehand that Schneiderlin would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I like what they've got already. Maybe the point you made would be that will complement what they've already got in midfield.
I think it would perfectly. You've got if in the ideal world you had Carrick holding, Schneiderlin on the left central midfielder, and then Herrera right central midfielder.
Lovely, yeah.
I think you've got a blend of absolutely everything in that midfield. You've got a passer, you've got a creator, and you've got a tackler. We played Marouane Fellaini in that tackler role, and quite frankly, I don't think he's going to move the side on. Schneiderlin is a very good ball player, as well as being a tackler, as well as being an interceptor. If you look at tackles, he's won the most since Southampton got promoted in the whole Premier League. So he's really good at covering people. And if you look at Memphis Depay, who's going to play left wing, having a player that works next to him to cover his flank, that's what we need to do. Because Memphis Depay is going to stay up the pitch, when we don't have the ball, for counter-attacking opportunities. Get Schneiderlin in there to do his work.
So can I just ask Dave this then? Because what they've had this season is they've had trouble changing the game at times.
Yes.
So what's going to change the game? Because this is a great plan A for United. Which game changes are they going to bring in? Or are we going to see this team become more adaptable as they learn Odegaard's ways?
That's what I think will happen. That we'll have... Depay, you could play up front, he could play left midfield, he could play attacking midfield, could play right midfield. I think Di Maria is going to evolve as a player. We've seen his best football in his career playing that left central midfield, left wing role.
This is it, David.
He'll evolve.
Di Maria, Mata, Fellaini. He likes Fellaini.
Fellaini is a good option. I don't like Fellaini, but he can do something for you if you chuck him on.
Okay.
It's a shame that someone like Kevin De Bruyne is not in the Premier League. But, I mean, he was by far and away voted the best player in the Bundesliga last season. He would be a great player in the Premier League. Plus he wasted that.
But you obviously managed to target De Bruyne. But Nathaniel Klein at right back, they could do with a right back. Would you see that happening, Laurence?
Yeah, well, the exciting talk originally was about Dani Alves, but then he signed a new contract.
That would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect. But then the youth of Klein, that's two wonderful players.
What about Raheem Sterling?
I would actually love to see Raheem Sterling go to United. If he doesn't want to be at Liverpool, then you know what, Liverpool, let him go wherever he wants, get the most amount of money for him. And I heard something the other day, which is, I think applies here, which is if you're angry with someone and you don't want them around in the first place, don't worry about what they're doing because their punishment is their own life. And I think at the moment, Raheem Sterling's own punishment is his own agent. Because if Liverpool fans are angry with him, then let him go. If he doesn't want to be at your club, he should leave. If people keep harking back to Shankly, all the boot room guys, if they had a player who didn't want to be there, a player who's disruptive, just go. Don't bother. Because it's an unrealistic expectation of a player to stay.
There we are, everybody. Thank you very much for your questions. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
Don't tell us. Dave, pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
And Laurence, of course, always wonderful. Always wonderful. The season is over, but we're going to continue through the summer. Don't you worry about that. We're going to be doing various videos and whatnot, so stay tuned.